Hey, how you doing? It's Michael here. We're going to take a look at another Australian Rules football video. Now, last week I took a look at a video that just kind of explained the rules of the game and went over how you score and stuff like that. Nothing too in depth, but it's a cool game just from what I saw. A lot going on, and I want to take a look at the AFL Championship game at some point because that's supposed to be quite an event. And I'd also like to figure out, see the game played, in extended periods of time so I can know how it flows and stuff instead of just, clips. But today, because I stumbled upon this and it's a fairly short video and I want to take a look at it, it's titled AFL's Biggest Hits and Bumps of All Time. Now I have a feeling bumps is a bit sarcastic because they're probably more significant than just bumps. But this might give an idea about, the physicality of the game. I don't know, the video I saw earlier covered tackling, but I don't know what's illegal, what's legal as far as tackling goes. So maybe this will explain a bit of that. So without any further ado, Australian Rules football biggest hits and bumps of all time.
Fit and playing well, or suddenly looks impressive. Lewis
Wow.
has not moved. Wonderful.
To Shirley Brown. That's just great courage. The ball's there. Harbrow has to make an attempt to mark the ball.
That's a rough start. I was wondering if that play was legal while I was watching it. Then I heard the announcer right then say that the guy has to make a play on the ball, which leads me to believe that play wasn't legal. But that would be a tough call in American football because the defender looked like he got there right when the ball got there, not early. So I don't know. You can let me know.
Water for his hard work. Leading the free kick. Martin, the handball, didn't need to play on there. He had Robinson right there with him, and he keeps going. Oh,
jeez.
He has flattened Stephen Martin. They play on the Brisbane Lions, and it's inside 50 to Rich.
To be on here, boys.
Yeah, it's against Stephen May, and Stephen Martin has been laid out.
Okay, I was wondering if that was legal, but since there's a fight going on, it might lead me to believe it's not legal. I don't know how the guy on the ground, his eye was on the ball. He had no idea this guy was coming toward him. I don't know the rules enough to know how defense is played, but if that's legal, that's a brutal way to play a game. If it's illegal, it's still pretty brutal.
And hasn't moved. When you talk about bumping a player, he's pretty much done everything wrong in this instance, Brad.
Yeah, as he ran past the football, he left.
Interesting. I think the guy just said when it comes to bumping a player, so maybe bumping is an Australian Rules term. That's interesting.
The ground, and he hit Stephen Martin in there.
And he said he wasn't playing the ball, and you can see right there, number 17 is definitely not playing the ball. He's playing the guy's head. So maybe that's a big part of legal versus illegal. You got to play the ball. You can't just, run into someone because obviously the ball is an afterthought to number 17. He's going for the guy.
And Stephen Martin was knocked out cold. Fortunate enough, he's healthy. He was stretched off.
But his teammate
Can't be the target.
got the ball and was on his way.
For this to continue the way it's gone. Collision with the umpire there.
I didn't see what happened there.
Trying to get to the spoil, and this could be a real concern. We'll check on the
crowd as well. Here's another look at it.
Oh, clashing heads.
Oh, that was an official down.
Immediately you could see there, Adams.
Ounces, and he delivers.
Well, I'll just say one thing about officials, referees, whatever they're called in particular sports. They do such an amazing job of being relatively invisible, but still in the midst of the game, but not causing. That time the guy got hit, but I'm sure that's rare. Whether it's hockey or basketball or soccer/football or this game, the referees do an unbelievable job of positioning themselves to not affect the game, but yet be right in the middle of the game. It's pretty extraordinary, you know?
long, out comes Buddy.
That's a big hit.
And he's absolutely crunched Nathan Wilson. Wilson in the air, and he came through, and Nathan Wilson, he's up, he's proppy. He'd be feeling every bone in his body right now because of Buddy.
From Goldstein, it could be 50.
that I saw that. The guy made contact, and he went like this. Like, who, me? The first thing he did was, who, me? And when you do that, that's the international sign for, I'm guilty, I did something. Because when you say, like, what? Me? You're saying, I did that? Me? Basically, that's the person saying, yep, I did that, please, but maybe will you fall for this? Maybe you give me a break? But it doesn't work very often. Let's see this.
You're not happy with that, Troy.
I forgot, I don't know who it was.
Coming in and
the guy in blue.
the skipper. Opportunity to lose this game, and they have just really struggled with this kick out. As a
There he is. There he is. You know, these guys don't wear helmets like American football, and so they're probably not leading with their head very often or at all. But it seems like they lead a lot with, like, shoulder, forearm. That's a pretty hard situation if if you're a strong guy like these guys are, and you go for the head with this. You might, you know, it's not much different than, you know, having a helmet, because that's a pretty sturdy position. If that's the way the game's played, that's brutal.
It was a poor action. It was way late. He saw him. He knew exactly what he was doing.
Oh, that was different.
Over the header, Hunter Clark.
Oh, see that?
Crashing through Duday. Clark is not moving on the ground.
See,
It was who came.
that, you know, look at the two guys. The two guys, the ball, they're all there at the same time. I just don't know the rules for tackling or bumping well enough, or at all, to know what's like a good play and what's a penalty.
Crashing through. And that's just.
But you saw the guy running for the ball with his eyes on the ball, which, you know, you have to do, but you're just vulnerable to a hit like that, man.
Attack on the ball from Bud.
He's had the 6 clearances, which are good numbers, but now he's spreading the load nicely to sit in midfield.
Oh,
Big
wow.
contest
I know
on
what
the wing. Rampy immediately checks.
Could be out there.
Oh, he's going.
Let's have a look at this. No, he wasn't taking the legs, was he?
That's interesting. The guy's head, it looked like the guy's head hit the other guy's hip or something, but I heard the announcer say he wasn't taking the legs. I don't know what that means. Maybe if he would have gone lower, it would have been legal or a better play. That's another thing I don't really know.
But nothing untoward from Dane Rampy, obviously. He's playing the football.
They're both,
So
they're both there at the ball. Whoa! Now that's, you know,
He's let himself down completely there, Barry Hall. That is
you don't often see that.
We thought was out of his game.
You don't often. Oh, geez. Those were just 2 punches. I think they were both left hooks. You know, these kind of sports, it seems like, whether it's, you know, football, you know, European football, or this, or things, it's like, you know, they get in each other's faces. Sometimes there's confrontations, and there's pushing and shoving, but rarely is there just a left hook delivered. So, I mean, how are these guys going to be, unless that's part of the game, which I don't know if I've seen that in like a team sport, just someone punching as if it's a fight, you know. So if you're used to just, you know, going chest to chest in a confrontation, and you're used to like your teammates pulling you away eventually, and that's the way the game's played, then for some guy to just out of nowhere throw a left hook, how are you gonna expect that? That's tough to defend.
Now that's Scullo has just dropped Aiden Valentine.
That's
So you heard the umpire. Let's have a look at it.
Yeah, that's brutal. I mean,
Whether they got him in the face or they got him in the chest.
Reported for striking. Unacceptable. No. Go back and take the kick. Yes. It's okay.
yeah, that's kind of lame because
Left jab to the head. There it is.
that's even more like kind of weaselly than other penalties because it's just the guy's not expecting it, so you're going to land it. The rough plays during the game I can see, but this one, that's to punch a guy like that. That's kind of not a lot of respect.
Oh, well, that's the best shot of it I've seen, and that's going to be weeks.
The greys combine, and it's been a great afternoon so far here at Optus Stadium. Robbie's got it. He's got and dump slam tackle face first by Nyhouse and Charles.
See, that's kind of an American football type tackle, which I'm assuming is legal, except for the fact that it was done quite a bit out of bounds. The guy's laying there out of bounds. I'm assuming once the guy's out of bounds, the play's dead, so there was no need to slam him 2 yards or meters out of bounds. So that's kind of, I don't know. I don't know the rules.
He's not happy. He's hurt. He hasn't moved.
I played the free kick.
Face first, slam tackled, and that's a free kick.
A slam
and maybe
tackle.
a report. Here's the tackle.
See,
Tackle. And I played the free kick.
not only is it out of bounds when he finished that tackle, but he also did a little extra thing to make the impact far more impactful, which was unnecessary. Now, I don't know if that would be a penalty or if it would be a personal foul thrown out of the game, but I can't imagine you can tackle a guy like that out of bounds and do that. But I don't know.
Ball was out.
That's brutal.
Couldn't protect himself. That's a nasty.
Bounce beats everybody. Fantasia goes.
Two teammates. No penalty there. How can you call a penalty when it's two teammates?
Bang into this temple.
But it's brutal.
Oh.
So it was last year that Hamill was concussed.
Concussed.
Oh, he came out.
He drew Armfield and worked him hard. And
jeez.
Courageous. He's been absolutely.
Oh, man.
It's great courage.
That's a very American football looking play there. And that would have usually been legal. Maybe it's not legal now but anyway, the receiver was there. As soon as the ball touched the receiver's hands, that guy hit him, which in American football, would be legal. You can't hit a receiver before the ball's there, but once the ball's there, you can. Whether you're going for the ball or not. Now this is interesting because I don't know if this is different because he wasn't really going for the ball, the defender. He was going for the guy. He was going for the receiver or the guy catching the ball. So in Australian rules football, maybe you can't do that because you're not necessarily trying to tackle the guy with the ball. I don't know. This is too complicated. This is too difficult to not know the rules. But that's a brutal play. When you're laid out, like in football, American football, a receiver will go across the middle, and he knows that if he's thrown to and he's going across the middle, he's likely going to be hit hard, and yet they somehow keep their focus on the ball and very rarely make any concessions to knowing they're going to get hit. And that guy he was there. You could see his eyes on the ball. It was like he'd ran a pattern in football, in American football, and just got decked. Man, that's brutal. Oh, I guess that's it. Wow, that's a crazy game. I can see why it's so popular because it has a lot of everything in it. A lot of talents needed to play that game, and toughness. But what I don't understand, what I don't know at this point is if those kind of hits happen on a regular basis. If they did, you'd think, who's going to be left to play, you know, because these guys are getting flattened and floored and concussed. So I don't know if a play like that happens once a game, twice a game, once every 5 games. I don't know. But it's a crazy game, you know. It's a crazy game. I want to take a look next time at an actual game and see how the flow of it is, because it's hard to tell just from highlights. But anyway, Aussie Rules football. You Australians have a hell of a game there. And I can see why it's so popular. Okay, I'll talk to you later.